So I have worked in people leadership for my entire career, and I was working in a role that was more consulting. So it was working with different organizations all over the world, helping them build HR frameworks and doing really cool things. But it wasn't really tapping into my creative persona. And so I was trying to find something that would allow me to continue to do, my day-to-day job, but also tap into that creativity and connect with others. So I started working with TEDx Colorado Springs, jumped in as a volunteer.
Who was that young guy that was leading that effort?
Steve Morocco.
Yes.
Yes. Steve, yeah. And I don't know. I haven't heard from him for a while. Yeah. So I'm not sure. I know he's been very supportive whenever we have TEDx Manitou Springs events. He'll send a quick note, like, good luck, you guys. But so I volunteered for a couple of those events, and I found it was so much bigger than what I thought it was going to be. I was excited just to connect with others, and then I found when I connected with the speakers and learned about their journeys and then connected with the audience and the volunteers, it turned into this incredible thing that really drove me, that I found so much purpose in. Then COVID, I think that is an answer for a lot of things. Then COVID, period.
Yeah.
So then
It's now
I sat at
Amber.
home eating Doritos and Oreos and like, what am I going to do with myself? And I talked to my sister, who's also on the executive team, and a couple of people I had volunteered with at TEDx Colorado Springs, and said, why not? Why can we not create our own? And so we started, and we connected with Manitou Springs School District, and we actually hosted our first event with them and had students help us, and it became this really community collaborative event. And now the reason I'm doing it is because these talks are reaching people all over the world, and they're so powerful and so inspiring and so educational. And there are times where I just sit back, and especially like at our speaker masterminds where they're all working together, I just sit back with tears in my eyes, like, I can't believe that we created this. This is amazing.
Awesome.
And so now, even though I'm still fully part of it, it's almost like self-driven. Like I have this incredible team who I have incredible producers and incredible people that work with the volunteers, and so now it's just this thing that brings me energy. As much work as I put into it, I wake up energized thinking about it every day.
I love when things go downhill like that, or downstream, where it's just it's meant to be.
It is.
It's there. You don't
Yes.
have to paddle
No
up,
effort.
and that
Like,
means
done and done.
Yeah,
I'm supposed to do it. Yeah.
It's exactly, and I have people now reaching out like, we want you to host here, and we've always had speakers interested, but now we have sponsors and venues that really want to be part of it.
How are you engaging the youth? Are you doing that with the high schools? Like, explain that a little bit.
We haven't outside of Manitou Springs,
Oh,
but we,
okay.
so one of the things that people might ask is, you're TEDx Manitou Springs, but you've hosted your events outside of Manitou Springs. Like, our venues have been outside. It's because it's very hard to find a venue in Manitou that has parking.
Yes. Kind of an issue there.
It really is our issue. But so we've fully engaged with Manitou Springs High School. So we've had performers and had different speakers from the high school. The former superintendent was one of our speakers. And then we've hosted different workshops with them too, to help them learn how to be public speakers and how to share their ideas.
So great.
Something that we've talked about doing is working with Steve Morocco, who has the TEDx Colorado Springs license, to see if we could incorporate that name, because we're a little bit hesitant to start working with the Colorado Springs high schools when we still have the Manitou Springs name, but you can only have one license per city.
Yeah.
I tried to get TEDx Pikes Peak, but Big Ted said no, so we're working on that to where we can spread out a little bit more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why is he called Big Ted?
Just TED.
Oh.
I call them Big TED. You know, like
Like Big
TED
Brother
Talks.
overseas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So TEDx, the difference between TED and TEDx is TEDx is independently licensed. So we're licensed through TED.
Okay.
But everything that you see is hosted by the individuals. We don't get any funding, anything. We just get the name.
Okay.
But we have to get approval. It's kind of like having a franchise.
Yeah. Got it. Okay.
and follow their format. and-
Everything, all of their
Yeah.
branding, everything. But the powers that be at TED are, limit what you can do. So, yeah, so we're trying to work through it.
You'll make it happen.